Okay, I'm going to probably make two videos this weekend. I will start with the main charts that I've been working with this week, which are a couple yen pairs, the Canadian pairs, Euro New Zealand, Aussie New Zealand, and maybe something else. And I may do a second video on the weekend with the dollar pairs and gold and maybe something else. So starting with the pairs I've been working on, I will go over how I'm looking at them right now in preparation for Monday and next week. Starting with US dollar yen, the bounce from the bullish wedge has worked so far. It reversed a bit today, but I think on the lower time frame chart we have had 5 waves up. So we can look at this as a corrective sequence so long as it is choppy compared to this. There should be a buy signal in here into Monday and Tuesday next week, perhaps. The weekly candle looks like it's closing good. The stochastics are still rolling over, which isn't ideal right now, but judging from the bounce so far, it looks like it will involve another leg up, at least. And the idea in this, if this is a valid count here, we could see a move towards 115. There are really too many scenarios to paint now, but I can go over two brief scenarios. One is that this is wave 2 in here, and then we have a bullish sequence now for a third wave ultimately above 118. There is a further sequence, however, where this could end up being some type of choppy correction above this high, and then moving down for one more low, which would create a larger 3-wave correction into the end of the summer perhaps, and then the larger bullish wave that I've been looking for. But that is just an assumption for now. For now, we have a valid working count here from the bullish wedge, and it looks like it has a good chance to continue to move up here. So any corrective sequence into the trend line, into support levels, some fib retracement, as long as price is corrective in 3 waves, it should be a buy going into next week. Similar view on Euro Yen. It's looking like we've had a 3-wave correction on the 4-hour chart, and so long as we hold key levels here, it looks like it's good for another move up towards the recent high of 125, 126, and possibly beyond that. But for now, I like the idea that it will move higher. The weekly looks okay. Stock's holding above the 80 line, so I will be looking for Euro Yen also to move higher as well going into Monday next week. Price made that low out of the little wedge type of formation there with the stocks reset to 20, so it's looking good for a move up, and as long as the corrective as long as this current move down is corrective in 3 waves, it could be a good buy going into next week. So both yen pairs are remaining bullish for now from their lows on Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, Canadian pairs. US Canadian, I cannot rule out yet that this is, I cannot say 100% if this is finished or if this current sequence of 3 waves up is just wave 4 and we have one more low beneath 13150 or so, 13160, and then a larger move up. It could still go either way, but in any case it's corrective from the low. So however it emerges, either we continue up here for another corrective leg, or it's looking for one more low for this low here and then a bigger correction. I cannot say which one yet, but so far it's essentially running to plan, and it may move down for wave 4 and the wave 5 idea though, killing the divergence and then move up more correctively. It's not clear, but in any case, as I said before, the key thing to remember about this is that all 3-wave corrections such as this are sell opportunities. So if this does continue to chop up over the next few days, it will remain a selling opportunity. So nothing has changed here. Whether the current count is correct or we call this 5 waves overall for one into here, it ultimately remains corrective and everything is a sell here. So nothing changed from the last videos, essentially. Now I'll look at a few more Canadian pairs, because it looks like the other Canadian pairs may have 5 down sequences too. So Euro-Canadian, if this flat is valid here, and we can call this 5 waves here for a slight truncation on wave C of the flat for wave 2. If this is valid here, then I think on the 4-hour chart, we can call a 5 down here. I am able to count this, I think, in a valid way as wave 1 into here, wave 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, larger wave 4, 5. So if this can correct out now in a corrective manner, remaining beneath 15250, then I think it should offer a good sell opportunity, because I do think this is a valid count for 5 ways down. Maybe it will gyrate a bit further, but there is divergence on the 4-hour now, and it's looking like it is a decent 5 down. So if that's correct, any type of retracements beneath the last high from 2 June should be a sell. I will go over this more next week. I just wanted to wait for the week to close to see if that 5 down emerged, and I think it has printed successfully now. So I'm looking for this now to retrace, and as long as the retracement is corrective, a sell opportunity could appear there. Now, the idea on Aussie Canadian was that this could form a wedge. However, I'm going to put the wedge on the so-called back burner for now, and I'm going to assume that the decline has started from the 3 May high. It has started as 3 waves down with a correction, but I'm looking at this now as possibly 5 down on the 4-hour. So I'm not trading this one. I'm not looking to trade this one. It has been difficult recently because it's just gone sideways for the past 3 months or so. But I think there's a case to be made that it can fall here towards the trend line and ultimately breaking it. I don't want to stretch it to say that it's still got the move up open, because overall it's looking like, this is looking like 3 waves into here. And so for this to be 3 more waves, it should really make another low. And then I think a move up overall. But for now, judging by this week's action and the failure to make a low, I think it is also open to a decline. And New Zealand Canadian is looking rather similar. I talked about this last week as a speculative high into this region following a 3 waves here, and then 3-wave correction overall, breaking above this high. So far that seems to have worked out. Now for this to remain valid, it'll need to hold the last high in a corrective move up, because I think a case here can be made for 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 into there. And so long as the last high at 97.670 or so, 97.60, so long as that holds, a case can be made that this could look like a corrective wave up. So for now, I'm going to maintain a bullish view on the Canadian dollar itself. And if the current extreme large trader short positions on the Canadian dollar reverse, then it should end up putting strength into the Canadian dollar and seeing all of these pairs decline. But the main one for me has been US Canadian, which has been working well from the high at 137.50 when we were talking about it. And I think Euro Canadian is also open now to that possible move down. So the Canadian pairs are there. I'm not looking at pound Canadian right now. Okay, Euro New Zealand. Now, I was trying to find a trade in this today. Just to start with the daily, there was a very good inverted hammer candle on this yesterday, Thursday, and I was looking on the lower time frames for an opportunity to buy this. Now, first of all, it's under the trend line resistance here, but if you look at the 1-hour chart, there was a good wedge falling into here. Now, this has gotten very choppy. and it has not burst out yet. And this has been going on for a while. There's still the setup there, so I cannot say that it's invalidated yet. So long as the setup is there, I'm trying to run it as a buy opportunity. But we have the trend line first, and then possibly a move higher. Now, on the larger chart, there are a number of ways to look at it. What I want to mention first of all is that this segment right here, remember the gap from the French elections in April? That gap still has to be filled. So whether that gap is filled like this, or maybe from where price is now, it's filled first and then this, I don't know yet. But I do know that Thursday's inverted hammer candle is large and perfectly formed on my chart, and that, judging by the lower time frame corrective move here, it's looking like it is offering a buy opportunity with divergence. So I'm looking at that still, though it hasn't done it and there's no signal on the 4-hour yet. It is alive until it's not. What I wanted to say about this gap here, what I forgot to mention on US dollar yen on the daily chart, when we found this wedge formation here, US dollar yen also filled the gap here from April's French elections. So the gap was filled, price found the low at the wedge from the FOMC Yellen conference and moved up well. So the gap fill worked out there. And on Euro New Zealand, I'm also looking for the gap to fill. It's just a question of whether it plummets first and then corrects higher, or if we take it from there as basing here. Now I like the basing idea for the move up. On the lower time frame, it's looking choppy, and here it's looking like 3 and 3, at least from a glance on the daily time frame. So it's looking corrective. I will maintain a view that overall the decline is correcting this advance, which I'm going to maintain as a 5-wave advance for now. Yeah, I mean, it can go either way right now. The setup is there on the 1-hour, but it has not powered through yet, and it's just a probability thing. So we'll see into next week how that emerges. But the option is there to find a low here. And Aussie New Zealand did nothing today. What I want to stress about this is that it started as 3 waves, and now overall it has made 3 waves, and we have to see if it's going to make another high or not, or maybe a series of highs, or maybe we'll see something like 3 overall, which is what this is in my opinion. Maybe if this is corrective again, and then maybe another sequence up and then down, because overall, judging by how this has begun, I'm looking at this as a corrective sequence overall. And I think at this stage, even though we are above trendline support, it's I've seen this become quite weak before, and it's starting to look corrective from the start. It does favor a Z-wave low, and that will still give us a bullish formation here, because this 5-wave impulse in March 2015 is valid until it's invalid. So if we can find a low ultimately, if this is, as it appears now, corrective, and we make that low, it doesn't matter it breaks trendline support. Let's find the low beneath Y for WXY, infinite loop, and then a move up to 114, basically. So that's my view overall. I think we are corrective from the recent low of this week overall. So I've lost interest in this pair for now, until I see either some type of like topping process, or if we get another correction in here, which essentially replicates this, then I will look for another move up as well. But for right now, there are better pairs to trade, like the yen pairs overall. So I think that's it for this first video. Just a second. Yeah, I haven't really looked at anything else in detail. I mean, for me, frankly, a few charts are pretty much the most I can handle, despite the huge number here. I find a few are more than enough to take my time and to make money from, frankly. So in this situation, those are my favorite charts overall, all of these. And I would look at the dollar charts and gold and maybe something else. And if I feel that I have something I can contribute, or if I see some possibility, I will make another video. I don't want to just talk for talking's sake, because too much that becomes a case of a person talking just to show that he or she knows something. That's not the case. I'm just trying to find a trade opportunity and to try to make money from this. And so far the yen pairs have been okay, and US Canadian dollar too. So I'll leave it there, and if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, bye-bye.